Bonjour, bienvenue pour notre Topik Konversasyon. Au quoi l'autre jour, quand nous joignons un personnage intéressant, et pareil l'habitude, je connais, garanti, mon pour nous autres, qui bon même, aujourd'hui bon matin, on a grand plaisir pour introduire avec un garçon qui, la moitié sicélois, la moitié américain, qui nous joignent ensemble, qui crée sa jolie image, qui pour aujourd'hui partage son, mon compagnon dit son parcours dans les mondes là, et son là, c'est opéra. Aujourd'hui bon matin, on a grand plaisir. S'il vous plaît, pour introduire avec Phinehas Bynum. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm very well. I'm happy to be here, happy to be in Seychelles.
Yes, so here on the morning show, on Bonjour Cécile, Topik Konversasyon to be precise, we are a bit nosy.
Yes.
So how does Phinehas start his morning? Tea, coffee, water, and what time do you start your morning?
Well, in the States, I have one little jar of say tea,
Yes.
vanilla black,
Yes.
and so on a special morning, I'll have my vanilla tea, but often I'll make a coffee.
A coffee. Black, no sugar,
Black, no sugar,
no milk.
no milk.
Okay.
Second cup, maybe some cream.
Second, oh, it depends on how you start your morning.
How Mama has it. Mama has her first cup with cream.
All right, so born and raised?
Yes, born and raised in Salt Lake City, Utah, in the States.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was here when I was 1 year old before I even knew anything. So I've been coming back and forth to Seychelles on and off since I was born.
And life in the States, how is it? How would you describe it?
Yes, it's hustle and bustle all the time.
Yes, fast-paced, isn't
Never
it?
a dull moment.
Yeah.
Lots to do, but sometimes it's nice to stop and smell the roses. You know?
And breathe a little bit. And when you compare coming on holiday in Seychelles, how is it for you?
Oh, it's a whirlwind. It's wonderful. I mean, I have so much family here.
Yes.
And so our trips are never long enough, so we always spend time going around. I mean, everybody is so kind, takes care of us. We'll go to Praslin, we'll go to La Digue.
Yes.
We'll go around and see the tourist spots, but it's nice to see the tourist spots as Seychellois.
Now, being a Seychellois as well, living in the States, where does the island, they say that you can take the boy away from the island, but you can't take the island out of the boy. How does that fit in for you?
Yeah, well, I mean, the U.S. is so large, and
Yes.
Seychelles comparatively is small, and so I already feel unique and special in the U.S. So it's always a topic of conversation. You know, someone will say, "Oh, where are you from? What is your background?" And I get to tell them about Seychelles, 4 degrees off the equator, north of Madagascar, Indian Ocean, 116 islands, and we have a lovely conversation.
Lots of sunshine.
Lots of sunshine.
And the weather is similar in Utah compared to Seychelles? I knew that. Yeah.
Yes. On the license plate in Utah, it says "greatest snow on earth." So sometimes we get multiple feet of snow in
Okay.
the winter.
We're talking about how many well, you guys use Fahrenheit, don't you? Let's try and turn that into degrees.
Yes, Wow,
That would be like what? Minus what?
let's see. I mean, a cold winter would
Yes.
be
Stick to your Fahrenheit.
20 degrees, 10 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's kind of cold, isn't it?
Yeah, I prefer the warmth.
You prefer the warmth. So it's a pleasure when you come back home.
I think that's my Seychellois secret strength. I never get too hot, even in the summer.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Although it's too dry in the States. My skin likes it better here.
Very humid, isn't it? All right. So, Phinehas, let's talk a little bit about your childhood,
Yes.
growing up, because clearly you come from a family on your Seychellois side. A lot of music in that family.
Yes, a very musical family.
Very musical family. Now let's be a bit nosy in that
Okay.
part.
Yes, well, my grandfather
Yes.
traveled around the islands, Luis Dueltudzi, and he played clarinet and banjo and sang, and my aunties, my uncles also sing. So I remember from a very early age coming here, we would all sing together
Yeah.
and play guitar and play drums. And I am a professional musician. At night and during the day, I work in technology,
Okay.
in automation.
All right. And a little bit about your day life. Let's talk about your day life.
Yes, so my role is automation engineer.
Okay.
So I would say I'm basically a consultant for technology within my company. So anybody has a process that they need to be smoother or is too complicated, I'll write code, I'll program systems to help
Yeah.
manage that.
Interesting. Lovely. And now your nightlife.
Yes, which
That's what you.
is more
you-
exciting.
It's you change. Don't you're like one of those creatures of the night. In the morning you're something else, and at night you're just somebody different.
Well, you know, I mean, Seychellois, Creole, it's a melting pot of people. I feel very
Yes.
much like I'm a melting pot of a person. So I
Yeah.
have the technology, the music, and night comes around and I get to do one of the things I love the most, which is to sing, which
Yeah.
I've been doing from a very early age. And I sing, I started my professional singing career with some opera, and I've since branched out into musical theater
Okay.
as well.
All right. That's really interesting. Now let's go back to
Yes.
your childhood. You said you sing at a very young age. How old were you when you started singing? When you discovered that,
Ooh.
oh, that is something that interests me and I want to take it on.
Yeah, well, before I could talk, I would say I was singing.
Okay.
When it interested me, well, my mama and papa saw that I loved to sing.
Yeah.
And so I would say in 4th grade, they enrolled me in a choir school.
Oh.
There's only a few in the U.S.
Okay.
But you know, you have your English and your math, and you have your classes, and you have choir
Yes.
every day. And so that was a big part of my upbringing is 45 minutes every day singing, learning music,
Yeah.
learning to read music. And I first started singing in church as a little kid, singing all the hymns, singing
Yes.
all the songs. And I've never stopped singing since then.
The transition to opera? Where did that come from?
Yeah, so I listened to a lot of music growing up, a lot of records,
Yes.
Pavarotti and jazz and Duke Ellington. But I studied, when I went to college,
Yes.
I studied vocal performance
Okay.
and computer science, double major. So half and half.
How do you mix the two?
Oh, well, I would say they actually go fairly well together.
Okay.
Not business-wise, because,
Yes.
you know, 2 jobs is always busy.
But as a holistic person,
Yes.
it balances you out, doesn't it?
Well, when you're trying to solve a problem creatively with technology, I think it's very similar to improvisation, to
Okay.
singing, to jazz.
So let me guess. Whilst you're sitting in the office and you're trying to solve something, there's a high probability we'll hear Phinehas singing.
This is very likely. Humming, singing, beatboxing, whistling, whatever.
Okay. So you've mentioned a few famous opera singers.
Yes.
Is there one in particular that you resonate to?
Oh.
That, you know,
Well, I mean, I mentioned Pavarotti. That's
Yes.
one of Mama's favorites, one of my favorites too.
Yes.
This is probably not someone anyone will know, but there's an old singer, Nicolai Gedda, very light, beautiful tenor voice, similar to like a Caruso,
okay.
who I listen to on records as well.
I'm gonna find that one also. Probably I'm gonna add that to my list.
But I love French music, hearing opera in French, because it's so smooth. And I studied French in high school, and so I can pick up a word or two of Creole here and there.
So you're very, shall we say, in terms when it comes to your musical passion, your passion in music, you are fairly fluent in different languages, because opera allows you to sing in many languages.
Yes, I would say I'll often have to study a score to understand the translation.
Yeah.
But I've sung in Russian, in French, in Spanish, in Italian. The choir school did a lot of singing in Latin.
Yeah.
So yes.
And when you decided to, of course, you still got your career. Is there any point in time where perhaps you think, okay, I want to take music on a professional and serious level?
Well, I would say my journey is reverse from a lot of my opera and musical theater colleagues,
Okay.
where we studied similar. We studied music in school.
Yes.
But for me, I just pursued the love of music, and people around me have invited me to participate. So my first professional opera gig was someone said, "Hey, you should go and do what you do for
Yes.
this person," and they said, "Great, come sing opera for us and with us." So I feel very fortunate that I kind of got to fall into it just by pursuing what I loved.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps any opportunity coming your way or has come your way in terms of building your career in music?
Oh, I sang my first lead role a few years ago was
Yeah.
Candide, which is it's called an operetta, so it's somewhere in between an opera and musical theater, and that was a big growth moment for me.
What is the difference really between the two?
Yes, it really comes down to the kind of music and the art form. And opera, it has this sense of significance and tradition, and a lot of famous opera is in
Yeah.
Italian. And operetta has more of a musical theater and a lighter. It's more open to different possibilities.
Okay.
So it kind of bridges
You
the
can bring
worlds.
your take on it,
Yes.
sort of, kind of.
Yes, you can interpret it very differently than
Okay.
traditional
Yeah.
opera.
All right. Et voilà que nous pouvons faire une conversation avec Phinehas, sa jeune garçon qui a une passion pour la musique opéra. Et aujourd'hui, bon matin, nous présentons avec son premier morceau dans nos interviews. Ah, voilà.
For the beauty of the earth, for the beauty of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies, over and around us lies. Lord of all, to thee we raise this our joyful hymn of praise. For the beauty of each hour, of the day and of the night, hill and vale, and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light, sun and moon and stars of light. Lord of all, to thee we raise this our joyful hymn of praise.
Bless you, John.
And in terms of Seychelles, do you have, surely you must follow the music in Seychelles. What are your thoughts on music in Seychelles, the evolution of music in Seychelles?
Yes, well, I would say I'm still discovering my Seychelles roots. I haven't followed specifically the growth of popular music, but from when I was very little,
Would we say you're an old soul in music?
I would say for sure I am an old soul.
Okay.
But here's an example. My uncles would always play Sega beats on the drums
Yeah.
when we were here. And I was recently in an opera, L'Amant Anonyme, The Anonymous Lover it's called. And I was asked someone handed me a drum. And I walked in with a processional of people and nobody knew this, but I played a Sega beat. So every night in the opera, when
Yeah.
I'd walk out on stage, I would play a little Sega nod to Seychelles. So I'd say, whether or not I recognize it or realize it all the time, Seychelles is part of me, and it follows me around wherever I am.
I'm pretty sure Seychelles living overseas and probably happens to have a sight of that performance will be like, that's an Easter egg right there.
It's an Easter egg. Yes.
It's an Easter egg, isn't it? All right. So what does the future hold for you, Phinehas?
Yes, well, I'll be in a production of The Sound of Music, which is
Oh.
not an opera, but this coming season, I just closed a run of a Christmas production back in the States.
Okay.
We had something like 30 performances the month of December, November. And I will, when I come back from holiday, I'll go back to my day job, writing code.
Yes.
And,
And in the nights?
well, I'm always studying. I'm always trying to improve.
Yeah.
I have a voice teacher. I study every week without fail,
Okay.
an hour. And so I'll keep growing and learning about myself and about my voice.
How disciplined should somebody be when they want to take music seriously? I mean, a lot of people feel they're gifted, they've got a beautiful voice, but there's so much more to that than just a beautiful voice, isn't it?
Yes, I would say two things. One is practice is hard.
Okay.
So you have to find something you like, because it's hard to practice something you don't like.
Yeah.
Now, there's definitely that growth period. You have to push through
Yeah.
the time of this is difficult and it doesn't feel like I can do this.
Okay.
You have to try it out long enough to know. But it's also, whenever you're doing something musical, for singers, this is our instrument. Your body is your instrument. And so it's very much finding balance within yourself. So, in singing, I spend a lot of time thinking about how am I standing?
Yeah.
How am I carrying myself? what am I feeling? What stresses am I feeling? Because music is an
Very
expression
in
of
tune
you.
with your body.
Yes, and when you get out of whack, your music suffers too.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
in terms of your music, I know you've mentioned a few of international. I've asked you about the Seychelles music, but is there an artist in Seychelles that perhaps you're drawn to in terms of music? It could be young, it could be old.
Yes, I mean, this is the easy answer, but it's really my family. I
Yeah.
mean, my Auntie Odilia sings jazz around the islands. I'm not so aware of the popular music in Seychelles. I think it's an opportunity for me, honestly, to grow and learn. So I would ask, what is your favorite? Who should I listen to?
I don't know. I mean, we've got Messiner, it depends on what genre you're interested in.
Ballad, probably. R&B.
It would have to be the younger ones. It would have to be Puso, it would have to be Guns, it would have to be Messiner, it would have to be, oh gosh, I don't want to miss out on the names, I'm getting in trouble. Julia's and promoting talent. And Tanya as well. We've got a lot of young people that is coming up with new sounds. Not new sounds, I would say new sounds because they're incorporating their own personal elements to the music. It could be Afrobeat, but they have that. Puso is one person that's very, very versatile, I would say. I like the way he brings the Sega, the Mutia in with the Afrobeats and that mixture, and it's just...
And there's Jenny Dulatuzzi,
Yes, sir. I was going to ask you about her.
my mother's cousin.
Yes. What role did she have to play in
You
your-
know, we have not interacted much.
Okay.
Yeah, truly. So I've heard a CD.
Okay.
But that's all. I have a CD at home.
You do? What is that one song from her?
Je ne sais pas. I don't have a specific track that I remember.
Yeah. But in terms of, let's talk about you right now, of course, with the new year 2024 coming in, and there's lots, as you said, in terms of your career in music, your career, in terms of professional life.
Yes.
What does 2024 hold for Phinehas?
Oh,
What are you looking forward? What are your dreams? What's on your bucket list?
What's on my bucket list? Well, it's difficult because each day is an opportunity to grow.
Yeah.
And so my bucket list is just to get a little bit better every day. I think I have some new action items for the year, which is to explore some more Seychellois traditional music.
Okay.
I am a songwriter as well, and I've been working on some of my own music.
Oh, all right.
I've recently, it's not out anywhere yet, but been working on a piece of a recipe, a traditional curry coco. Singing
So that's what
about
you're going to call it, the curry coco?
curry coco Creole.
I'm assuming you love a curry coco.
I do love a curry coco.
What kind of curry coco do you like?
Snapper.
Snapper. Curry coco.
Wakarang.
Yeah. Poisson. Okay. Right. That's good. Anything else on your menu list? Satini papai.
Tek tek.
I am sure the environmentalists right now are throwing a fit. We'll forgive him for this one. Yes, but I agree with you. Lasso tek tek is very nice. But
Yes,
we've got to preserve them a little bit more.
this is true.
Nous nous présentons avec le premier morceau. On gagne sa sens pour admirer et apprécier sur leur musique. Et voilà, aujourd'hui, bon matin, nous donnons encore un deuxième morceau qu'on est capable vraiment apprécier son style, leur musique et son la voix aussi, de tout son splendeur. Ah voilà, nous présentons avec son deuxième morceau dans nos interviews pour aujourd'hui, bon matin.
A sudden storm dumps all its rain, and folks complain from the Bronx to downtown, but a tiny stream that perseveres for a million years wears a mountain down, and that's the whole idea, fella, so simple yet sublime. Through less explosion, more erosion.
Phinehas, it was an absolute pleasure you coming here and having a chat with us this morning. Any words of inspiration or wisdom for young Seychellois artists pushing through with their music, whichever genre they decide to go in?
Yeah. Follow your heart, and don't let anyone tell you what your passion is and what you know. You should listen to people, but listen to your heart too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And shall we, dare we say, would you like to give us a little
Oh, a musical send-off.
something, a little something?
Let's see.
It's early in the morning. We've had our coffee.
Me. Let's see. A little Louis Armstrong.
Yeah. Ooh.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and for you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright, blessed day, the dark, sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Aww.
Oh, yeah.
Franchement, I think I've got tears in my eyes right now. Thank you for that, Phinehas.
My
It was an
pleasure.
absolute cheers. Thank you for
Cheers.
coming.
Salut, santé.
Merci beaucoup. On this note, mesdames et messieurs, si bon, quoi, on apprécie sa petite conversation aujourd'hui, bon matin, quand nous nous Phinehas, nous apprenons un petit peu le lit, comment c'est loi, mais aussi comment américain, comment il balance ça des zolikilti ensemble avec camarades pour créer ça qui était aujourd'hui. Et all the best to you for 2024 and all the best in your music and all the best in your career as well. On this note, mesdames et messieurs, ça c'était une Topik Konversasyon. Pareil dit, de passion, masse avec dans la vie, dans les cœurs. Écoute Timon, oui, écoute bon conseil que Timon il donne nous, mais après tout, seulement, c'est où qui met ou destin. On this note, ça c'était une Topik Konversasyon pour aujourd'hui, bon matin.